What is up, guys? We're back with another video. We got Edinburg Manor. Let's get into it.
People have been here before. Well, welcome back to those that have been here before, and welcome to those who have not. My name is Cindy. I will be giving you some history, some experiences, a walkthrough. I try to get through the tour sooner than later so that you guys have time to wander around on your own afterwards. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to try to answer those. And we'll kind of go from there. Somewhere around 1846, this property became the county poor farm. And there were over 300 acres. And that was a system at the time that if you didn't have a place to live, if you were kind of crazy or didn't have any money, you could go to the poor farm, and it was a working farm. The only requirement really was that you had to be able-bodied. You had to be able to work on the farm. They had cows and pigs and chickens and crops and all that stuff. And you had to tend that, and then they sold it. It never really made any money, but that's kind of how the system went. The county would contract with a local husband and wife generally to live here. They would raise their own families here, and it was their job to take care of the farm and whoever resided here as residents. In 1929, when the Depression hit the country, poor farm systems started to collapse. Couldn't handle it. Too much need. They didn't have enough room. So a lot of them transitioned basically to just county homes. Generally, a poor farm was not a hospital. Generally, the people who lived here may have been medicated. But it wasn't a traditional hospital in any sense. It was just a place where people could live when their families couldn't or wouldn't take care of them. There were all ages here. It wasn't a traditional nursing home of any kind. They had littles, they had elderly, had everything in between. In 1929, we were told that this facility no longer accepted children. They were all adults. And in 2004, Jones County decided to lease the building and property out to a company that ran it as an adult group home for people with mental disabilities. And they were here until November of 2010. At that time, somewhere in that general area, they had gone to the county and said, hey, we need some upgrades. It was a state-inspected facility, so state probably said you have to have these things, and county said no. So that company left. There were 32 adult residents here at the time. They moved into Anamosa, which is skipping a jump that way. They had built a new hospital, so their old building was available, and that's where they went. Now, they lasted in town for about a year, and then the company either closed, transitioned, and the residents went with family, other group homes, or some still do live in the area on their own. I have a gentleman that lived here when it closed, and he lives over in Monticello, and he still works with the same lady that helped him while he lived here. So that's kind of nice to hear those kinds of positive things. So doors closed in November of 2010. An ad in our local Penny Saver in January of 2011 said, hey, open house. So we came and took a look. It had heated running water. It had just closed. It's absolutely beautiful. They did another open house in February. Came out and took a look again. And in this county, when they decided to sell it, they parceled off the building. There's a couple houses and about 12 acres. And you had to do a sealed bid. Has anybody ever been to an auction? Be careful. Don't itch your nose and hold your number at the same time. You probably will buy something that you didn't intend to do. But in this process, it was a sealed bid. So you had to fill out their form, mail it in, and then on some day, the Board of Supervisors opened the bids. And I got a phone call, literally said, honey, guess what we bought? I'm like, what am I supposed to do with it? He's like, I don't care. It's really cool. Okay. We did not have a plan. We got the keys in October of 11, so not quite a year after it closed. In the meantime, what we did not know, that the county did not tell us, is that sometime in March of 11, they blew the water lines and shut the heat off. So between March and October, all the paint started peeling. So when I walked in the front door, I'm like, what happened? It was kind of terrifying, actually. Swept up a lot of paint. But again, we still didn't have an idea. Could rent the houses, could do that. We didn't buy it to do anything to do with paranormal. We didn't even know that existed. We don't investigate. We don't go places. Been on TV several times, but I don't watch TV shows. We don't do any of that stuff. So I have now decided that this is my happy accident. I get to meet people from all over the place. I literally have met people from all over the world. I actually have, God willing, a couple that's coming from Germany in August that have already booked a date to it. So it's just kind of neat that things like that have happened. So yeah, did not intend to do it. It's just something that we do now. We went in that direction. Does anybody have any general questions before we get started on the walking part? All right. Yes?
Bathroom?
Oh, bathroom. I have not had a chance to open the door yet. What do we have crawling on the floor?
Bumblebee.
A bumblebee?
Yeah.
We usually don't have bumbles in here. We usually have wasps in here. They come out of the window.
Yeah, its wings are. Are we allowed to take pictures?
Yes, you may take pictures. I don't think I said this, but this building has been here since 1911. There was originally a couple of 2 white-story structures that they used for housing and things like that. One of them burnt down. The second one they physically picked up with men and horses and moved to make way for this building. I do have a picture of that. Like they know a lot about physics. Wow. Okay. It's a steel and brick building, so it's very solid. So right now, for whatever reason, we must have a lot of humidity today. Because it's hot. It holds the cold, holds the heat. Everything that's in the building that you'll see pretty much was here when we got it. This room had some toys, but over the years we have a lot of people that bring more toys. They had the beds, dressers, lockers, things like that. I have had people donate the bedding, so pretty much every bed's gonna have some sort of covering on it. If you're sleepy, feel free to take a nap, or not. And the reason for the toys is there still are kids here. And there's one little girl, her name is Suzanne, and they call her Susie. She's somewhere between the ages of 7 and 10. Now, she was a child that was dropped off and left here. And when I first heard that, it made me really sad until I realized we have that same program now. In Iowa, we call it the Safe Haven program. So even back then, if you believed that you couldn't take care of your child, you could take it to a place like this in hopes that someone else could do better than you did. If they were little, they were likely adopted out sooner than later. Little older, probably got put to work on the farm. It was a terrible product of the system, but that's kind of how the reality of it was. Now, she, somewhere between the ages of 7 and 10, again, I've heard her sing. I've heard her run up and down the hallways. There are toys that light up and make noise. I've seen that happen when no one is around them. I have seen balls roll around on the floor, dead stuck. Sometimes toys move to different rooms. I have not seen them float to a different room, but I know if I'm in here picking up, sweeping, doing whatever, and a toy's in one room and then it's in another room, I know I didn't do it. So they do things like that. I know I'm horrible at social media. I don't look us up, I don't Google us, I don't do any of that stuff. But I have heard that a lot of people will call this the children's room. I've not come across any documentation telling me who was in what rooms. It would be highly unlikely that they would separate the children if they were here with mom or a female relative or anything like that. But that's kind of how, still some mysteries of how they work things. And there are other kids here. She's just the only one I know the most about. She's also pretty friendly. She may tug on your clothes or try to hold your hand. She loves to play. That's kind of her thing. The next room you're going to go into is a lot smaller, so if you're claustrophobic, you might want to stand in the hallway.
Guys, this is crazy.
watch them.
We'll make it fit.
I know, right? Carolyn, come on in here.
I've been in there, you guys go
Yeah.
ahead.
All right. So, I don't know if you got here, if you wandered around back at all, but we have balconies out back, and they kind of denote wings. So when the building was built, they'd always intended to keep the sexes separate for their sleeping quarters. So of course you ate together, worked together, did your activities together, you just didn't have co-ed floors or co-ed rooms. So we are on the men's wing, first and second floor. So in the 1950s, this was someone's room. Now, his bed was against the back wall, and he would have had a locker or a dresser for his belongings. His name is Paul, and Paul had always lived at home with Mom. But when Mom died, it was one of those situations where his siblings didn't know what to do with him, so they stuck him in the county home. He was very unhappy here. He did not like it. We were told he was only here for about a week. He didn't understand where Mom went, didn't know why he couldn't be at his own space. He was just unhappy. And being a county home and not a locked hospital, people wandered away all the time. He could have walked out any door and just kept walking. But Paul decided to leave by hanging himself. And he did hang himself in this room.
Oh.
And everybody looks up. No. Paul actually hung himself from his doorknob. And we know this because we've spoken to a live person who was here that day, saw him still attached, gone. He can't remember the year. He thinks it's the early 50s, 53, 4, 5 time period. So it's highly likely this original door. But they did turn it into their mop closet, so they would have kept their chemicals, cleaning supplies, things like that in here. So not original handle, it's a self-locking door. So it's being held open by the little door stopper. And when you guys have the opportunity to wander around on your own, if you come back down here and this door is shut and latched, you have to find me, I have a key. If you choose to sit inside here and you want to do some investigating, whatever, and shut the door all the way, you should be able to get back out.
Should.
I should.
You're gonna make your way down to the end. You the last one? Yes. You the last one? Yep. Thanks very much.
It's a nice house.
It's decent.
I love the back of my Now, as you go through, if you need to sit, please double check the chairs that you sit in, because some of them, like those are antique chairs there, I would not sit in that. The one that's leaning, yeah, don't sit in that one. Just be careful where you sit. Some of the things, we've moved around a little bit in the building to kind of put them in a place. We have tried very hard to keep it like we got it. It's their home. That's why we have the beds. We make up the beds. I sweep a lot. We do all that stuff. But you can see how you're in the balcony area in the wing. Now you are welcome to explore the balconies, but you will use the staircases outside. We don't open any doors, and the front door should have been locked, but that's neither here nor there. Well, actually, it was locked. It just wasn't latched. The lower balcony is on each side. The staircase is on the outside. The upper balcony is on the inside. So if you look out the window, you can kind of sort of see there's a gated door at the top of that balcony. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get up those stairs because I just am too lazy or don't have enough time to cut the tree that decided to grow there. But I do have that gated door locked just because the inside door is so unbroken I can't secure it. There's evidence in the brickwork up there that that wasn't completely enclosed with probably some sort of fencing like that at some point. They removed that part, kept the door, so they've got some railings and things. There's no evidence on the men's side, upper or lower, of any kind of enclosure on the balcony. So on purpose, they enclosed the upper balcony of the women's wing. We do know that when tuberculosis was a big thing, they did have a TB ward out here. Potentially that's where those people were. They could go outside, but they couldn't mingle with other people. We have been told that the family who took care of the farm lived with the residents. I don't know where that is. That could be their area as well. More often than not, the likely scenario is that they just believed that women were a little more emotional and didn't want us jumping off the balcony. We are going to use the back staircase to go on the tour. When you're wandering around, you do not have to use that. I can tell you I don't always get them swept, so going down, up, just watch out for lots of paint. But the one thing I want you to be aware of, so I did move the toy just in case anyone asks, is that the doors will sometimes do that when you're somewhere else. I've had it happen to me here by myself. When we first got the place, we had a black lab, and her name was Kaylee, and has since passed at the end of last year. She was 16. And when she was in here with us, she'd wander around, and occasionally she'd be in the stairwells. She just snuck by me, I wasn't paying attention, I don't know what's going on. And it happened multiple times. And then we were here one night, there was probably 7 of us, we're on the 2nd floor wandering around, and she's in here. Who knew where she was? Somebody's like, where's the dog? I don't know, we'll find her or she'll find us eventually. We come to the wing, and I can hear her whining. We had not used the back staircase at all. And I can tell you with 100% certainty, this dog is not. She's not opening the doors. But they have been known to play with her. I've seen that happen too many times. We're gonna go up. There's a door like this at the top. Go through that, in the room on the left. The top step.
It's just the door saying hi.
Hello.
Yeah, we can go ask.
I don't know if you guys heard or not, the top step is a little bit taller than the rest when you get up there. And you're going into the room on the left. They don't all slam, but they all mostly black.
That door did that. Everybody looked out there like we showed up.
All right, so using the back staircase, we come up to the 2nd floor. The balcony rooms are some sort of common area with a room inside. Now, because it was a state-inspected facility after time, they had done some remodeling. I don't know when they started that, but that room in there actually used to be 2, those tiny rooms. You can see on the wall there, sort of, where the door used to be. And then the wall would have been in there. Now, being a group home, I'm guessing they opened it up, made it a double because it's easier to do bed checks that way. Go in, swivel your head, but, and they've done others like that. The puzzle, I really don't know if there's 1 or 2, I don't think they're connected, but they were here when we got the building. Not in this room, but they were here. I am up to, I think it's 23 people that I'm aware of that have taken a puzzle piece home with them. But they did not know they took it home. So if you find that you have a puzzle piece and you don't want it, email me and I'll tell you where to mail it back, because people have done that. There's lots of puzzles. People bring puzzles like they do the toys and things like that, so there's puzzles everywhere. The puzzle pieces are like the toys. They do move to different rooms as well. So, you're gonna go down the hallway, and you're gonna go to the 3rd door on the left, not counting the little tiny door. Yep.
Slow down, take a minute.
You can see on the floor, walls used to be again, you have two tiny rooms. Doorways were probably over there. Do we have a late person? Some- Y'all heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that wasn't me. Huh, all right. We have always called this room the red room because it has red curtains. If you look at the other end, it's the blue room. Blue room. These two rooms have a different energy, and some people can feel it and some people can't. It can be as simple as a temperature change. Get that little ice cream headache, sick to your stomach, those kinds of things have been known. It's not that these are the only rooms that have activity, because that's definitely not true. It's just for some people, they're more pronounced than others. Now, there is a gentleman in the room. He is extremely tall, he's kind of big, and he's stooped. And he paces in that corner over there. Now, I learned about him from a deputy sheriff. So, the sheriffs were out here all the time. When staff couldn't find a resident, they would have to call the sheriff, they'd come out and do searches, and that's what he was here for. And he hit the doorway and immediately saw the man pacing back and forth. Now, that same described figure, tall, kind of big and stooped, stands in the doorway of the blue curtained room as well. I don't know if they're the same person or not. They look alike. The other commonality they have is that they're protective of women, and that is the women's wing. I am not a big proponent of names. I know everybody's curious about, what is your name, why are you here, those kinds of things. I've had the experience that sometimes they're little stinkers, and you and I could be talking, you get Jane, I get Mary, we could be talking to the same person. So, just a different philosophy. So I don't know who he is, but I did talk to a gal who lived in the area, and her uncle lived here. He would have been a great uncle of some sort, I don't know how many greats. This was his room. He did die on property. I don't know if he died in the room or not, but he died on property. She described him as very tall, large, and stooped. Is that him? I'm not sure. The other thing she did tell me is that he was protective of women. Potentially. I don't know.
And you've seen them?
I have not seen him.
Okay.
I see what I call the peekers, the shadows, the ones that peek around the doorways and the windows and those kinds of things. I have not here personally seen a full-bodied apparition. My friend has seen two. Both times in the middle of the day. Both times like you could see you. I can hear conversations. I don't always know what they're saying. Sometimes you can't hear that quite. Smells. I have been pushed to the point of, the only way I can describe it is like a shoulder jack. Like you're walking at me and you just do this. And I just do this. Spun all the way around. I've seen people scratched. I've had my hair pulled. We personally have never felt anything malevolent here. Other people have a different experience. The one thing that I will always tell you is that if you tell me that something happened, I'm really literally going to say that's really cool. But I'm not ever going to tell you that it did not. It's not my experience. I can't do that. So ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to decide what's paranormal and what's not. But keeping in mind the building is steel and brick. It's been here since 1911. And clearly somebody already slammed the door. All right, come in this way.
You've been in the basement too? With the Joker?
Yeah.
Don't say his name.
That part of the basement is not near as creepy as the other half of the basement.
So I read about it.
Binder downstairs that has pictures in it that people have sent us over the years. I have the book, it's called We Are Edinburg Manor, and that was written by Josh Hurd and Tori Westhoff. Josh, I think he owns and runs Malvern Manor on the western side of the state, and Tori's out of Kansas, and so they've done that. The book focuses on the deaths of the property. So there's over 250 documented deaths. That number is likely a lot higher. We just don't have, it's hard to find good documentation in places like this. But you're at the front. This is probably my favorite room. I didn't like that the paint peeled clearly, but the colors are kind of cool. It's very peaceful in here for me. The antique dresser over there are a couple pictures downstairs of images in the mirror. So that has been known to happen. So the rooms are numbered. We didn't do that. The next room we're gonna go into is room 200. And I don't know how much people research, do anything like that, but room 200 is the reason that we do what we do. It is kind of an L-shaped single room, so we'll all fit, but just kind of go in there. And if anybody wants to lay on the bed, feel free. We're going in that one. Your main staircases are here.
I'll lay on there, okay.
All right, go ahead and head on in. Squeeze around the bed. We're fine. We're all good. I'll try to get through this soon because it gets warm in this room, especially this time of year. We got the building in October of 2011. Somewhere around April of 12, my friend decides he's gonna spend the night here by himself. He picks this room because the hallway out there has always given him what he describes as a very interesting feeling. He's a science and physics guy, so everything is related to that. He has his own blankets and pillows and the dog. About midnight, he comes inside, gonna lay down, and he calls me. And I am not comfortable with him being here. I don't know anything about the area. Like, you need to come home. He's like, why? Because I'm feeling uneasy, you need to come home. He's like, I'm fine, nothing's gonna happen. So he's in bed, covered up blankets, the dog's on his side. And I ask him again to come home, and he's like, I am fine, nothing is going to happen. Except at that moment, something's touching my foot. Stop it. I thought he was teasing me. He's deadpan, something is touching my foot. I'm like, knock it off. He's like, I'm serious. I still didn't believe him until the dog went nuts. She pops up out of a dead sleep. I'm hearing this on the phone. He's giving me a calm play-by-play. She's facing the end of the bed. Her hair's standing straight up all over her body. And now she's doing this bark growl thing that we had never heard her do. And I completely lost it. I'm like, you have to leave. He's like, why? I'm like, I don't know, but you need to go. He's like, I'm fine. I can see my feet. There's nothing there. But she is one agitated dog. I can't even describe what she was doing, but I can honestly tell you, up until that moment, I had never heard that dog bark at all, ever. So he's telling me she's barking. Eventually she calms down and we're like, what just happened? He's like, I don't know, something touched my foot, and she went bananas. We talked for about 15, 20 minutes, and then she did it again. Same thing, up she pops, hair all over, barking, growling. This time she gets off the bed and she's nose to nose with the radiator. It's like, I can see it, there is nothing there, but she is agitated. And then she calms down, and I'm saying really stupid things like, you know, can I come help you? I live an hour away. Can I call the sheriff? He's like, what am I gonna tell the sheriff? Something touched my toe. I don't know. I mean, I had just beside myself. I'd never heard her do that. I was just freaking out, and he's just, I'm fine. Nothing's happening. She sits down, becomes a little statue, and she curls up and goes to sleep. And we talked till about 2 a.m., and she eventually got back on the bed, and he did stay inside. He didn't sleep real well, but he stayed inside, and she didn't have any other issues. But when he told me that something was touching his foot, it's almost as if someone's standing at the end of the bed, just squeezing his foot over and over again. I mean, it was very distinct. Well, after that happened, we had another friend that heard that he stayed and something happened, and he asked if he and a friend could come out and do an investigation. And we literally are like, a what? Because we did not know what that meant. We didn't know anything about this at all, like zero. So we said no. And he was pretty persistent, so finally we relented. I'm like, okay, fine. We let them come, 2 boys. They had some simple recorders and some flashlights, nothing fancy. They knew we spent the night inside, and they knew that something happened, but we did not tell them what happened or what room it happened in. Next morning, he calls up really excited. He's like, you have to hear what we got. And again, we're like, what does that mean? I don't know. We learned it was an EVP, so on their recorder, they got something. He emailed it to us and we listened to it on a laptop without headphones at separate times. Now when I heard it, he heard it first, and then when I finally hear it, I can hear them ask what we now know are typical questions. Tell us your name, give us a sign, we're not here to hurt you. One of them asked, did someone stay here? We see there's blankets on the bed. At that time, room 200 was the only one that had blankets on the bed, so we knew they were in this room. And the other kid said, did you do something to them? And almost, so it's like, just talking on top of each other. And after the kid said, did you do something? Almost immediately you can hear, I grabbed you. In this guttural whisper. And I'm like, I'm not going to say what I said because we got a little here, so. And I'm like, no. Play it again. I listened to it for at least a half an hour over and over again. There's absolutely no way because he knew, I knew, and the dog knew. We didn't tell a soul. And then the next thing we know, the kid's calling up saying, hey, I put that EVP on my Facebook page. Okay. It's like, no, you don't understand. Now, all these paranormal investigative groups are now reaching out wanting to come investigate our building. And at that point, we're still like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So we did a crash course, contacted a group out of Des Moines, said, tell me what you do and why. Did a couple others, had some people investigate. He did research on places like Villisca and Farrar, and we talked to a couple teams and like, what do you do and how do you do it and things like that. And in June of 2012, we started doing our overnight visits, and it's the dog's fault. So when I tell you that my friend has seen 2 people, I'll tell you about the second one just because she's up here. We kind of gather in the hallway. This would be your main staircase. Wandering around, you don't have to do that staircase. Here. So we were here, just the 2 of us. We're working on a window on the 2nd floor, and I had been in and out of the building 100 times. And I had, the curtain was up, windows were open, bright sunny day. And I made a comment that it felt kind of calm in here. And he kind of agreed. And then he went out to get a tool. And when he came back in, he hit the staircase and got that tingle, that little feeling. He's like, well, haven't felt that yet today. He walks up the stairs and he turns, and here she is. He saw her from the back. He could not see through her. She has long gray hair, about stick straight. She's wearing a white dress or a white God, why can't I say that word? Pajamas, okay? It's a high neck, long sleeve. She did not acknowledge him in any fashion. She took one step up, and then she was gone. And he walked into the room we were working on. He didn't say a word, just walked in there, and I looked at him like he did not. He's like, I don't know who she is, but I was given a tour, and there was a lady that did not want to go into that room, so she sat out in the hallway. We get done, we come out, and she blurts out, her name is Violet. Okay. She's very adamant. Her name is Violet. I hadn't told the story yet. Okay, that's all right. And another time I had a guy that, he did a photo shoot. He had a gal that dressed up like Harley Quinn, and they took pictures all over. And one of his helpers is from the area, and he asked if anybody has ever seen Rose. Well, I don't know. What does Rose look like? He told me Rose was very elderly, and she had long gray hair. And so I asked him what Rose's middle name was. Yes, Violet. Is that her? I don't know. But that's pretty coincidental. Other people have seen her. Either in the window, there was a gal that was up here, she had her phone on video, got her going down the hallway. So yeah.
So does anyone try to research, like dig back into the
book
archives
downstairs
and
has a
anything?
lot of names.
And see if
We
can
did have some, what they called them inmates, and they kept track of the poor and the insane. And so we have lists of insane women, insane men. There's some of that documentation. When we bid on the property, lots of old records, general ledgers, things like that were in the basement. And it was an as-is bid, and that stuff should have stayed. But the day that we closed, county removed it. The company that was here took their own records, great, that's what they're supposed to do. But historical records should have stayed.
Yeah.
I have seen the general ledgers. The Historical Museum, there's a little village across the road, across the gravel down there. That is the village of Edinburg. It was the county seat of Jones County, but the town only lasted like 7 years. No railroad, no river, so the town died and Anamosa became the county seat. The Historical Museum is over there. That's where the general ledgers are. I have seen them. There are some pictures in my book from the 1920s that will tell you, like their inventory, what they sold, what they, those kinds of things, and how many inmates, how many poor, how many insane, those kinds of things. And then Tori's book, she was able to find like obituaries, death certs, things like that that have some additional information. And a lot of people, when they come to investigate, will use the book as, they do kind of like a roll call. So they say, how is George? George, if you're here today, can you, they'll do things like that. I don't really know because I don't do that much. But historical documentation is really hard. I mean, I just learned a few years ago that the property was over 300 acres. Because I had never had anybody show me the plat maps. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So, the other thing a lot of people will ask about is the cemetery. Now, across the road is a little cemetery. It's not gated, not locked. You're welcome to peruse that. It's a pioneer cemetery. I believe the Historical Society people maintain it. They mow it. They try to take care of the stones and stuff. Several years ago, I don't know if it's even that way now, but the newest gravestone you can identify is around 1881. So that predates the building, not the poor farm. But keep in mind, poor farms were lots and lots of acres. That's not necessarily the poor farm cemetery. We don't know. But we do know it was larger than it is now. There were a couple of kids several years ago playing in the gully back behind it, and they did find some human remains that were really, really, really old. So yeah, lots of unknowns. It's hard to find good documentation. And the people who have that knowledge aren't with us anymore.
Right.
So yes, word of mouth is. You're gonna make your way down to the blue curtained room. The transition between the carpet and the terrazzo, there's a little dip or a little bump, so don't face plant. Watch out for random tears and things in the way. Sorry. All right, we transitioned to the women's wing on the second floor. Again, you can see the blue room is definitely like the red room, except you can really see where the walls used to be, doorways over there. So 2 tiny rooms, open it up, make it double. I had 3 ladies that were gonna spend the night, and we're coming down to this end, and so one of the ladies literally, she's walking down the hallway, very confident, she goes, she came in and immediately backed out. She's like, ooh. So she kind of collected herself and came back in and stood for just a few moments. And she told me that there's a lady on this side that has short dark hair. She's sitting in a chair. She's kind of rocking. She's really not aware of her surroundings. The lady on this side is elderly and angry. She's not mad at us or people that come. She's just mad in general. And then the man that stands in the doorway. There's probably others. I can only tell you what I have knowledge of. Between the red and the blue room, did anyone have any different feelings or sensations that they care to share?
I just, the change in when we were down there in that other room, I could feel the difference, like in the atmosphere and stuff, and that,
Yeah, sometimes it is just that simple feeling kind of thing. I was given a tour and there was a couple standing over there. It was summertime, she had a tank top on, and it turns out she was scratched on her shoulder while we were standing in the room. I watched a guy walk in here and a t-shirt on, and he went, I'm like, did you get stung by a bee? What happened? He's like, no, something just poked me. Okay. So various different things. One of the weirdest things, I had a gal, I kept overhearing her talk to her friend that one hand was really hot, one hand was really cold. Okay. And before she left, she put her hands on my cheeks, and yes, one was really hot and one was really cold. So I don't know how those things work, but I felt Now we're gonna go to the basement, using the back staircase. So you might want a light.
I've got a big one.
Perfectly fine.
Okay, Bob. Where that is. It's a nice bathtub.
It is a nice bathtub. I saw some curtains moving in the blue room.
There, yeah, I'll tell you about that. Yeah, we have to check those out.
Yeah.
When I say you need the light, everybody looks at me like I'm crazy, and like, no, trust me. It will. It gets really dark in this hallway without one.
Colder.
All right, we're gonna hang out in this room for just a second. So if you wandered away, come back in. Easy to do. So you are in the basement. When you are off wandering around on your own, the first and the second floor, if you kind of start center by the staircases, go down, do an eye, and come back. You don't have to use the back staircases at all. The basement is kind of like a giant circle with a few arms. So we are gonna start in this room. We will go that direction, but we will end up in the kitchen. So in this room, you can see we've got some big windows. Early on, when we started doing this, we contemplated getting a working bathroom inside the building, but because... So my friend was here during the day, somewhere again between noon and 2, and on the other side of that wall is a room that has a bathroom inside it. Now, I won't take you to the boiler room, you can find that when you're wandering, know that you need a light, but it's out this door, down a few more stairs, over there. That's where the lines, water lines would come into the building. So he goes into the room, and into the room, into the bathroom. That's it. Not a lot of space. When he turns to leave, he kicks something that he swears was not on the floor when he went in. It's a little yellow foam banana that the dog carries around with her. She wasn't here that day. So he blew it off. He's like, I just didn't see it. Goes to the boiler room to check the lines. Now he's gonna leave. And he chooses to come through this door. He hits that doorway and dead stops. Because out the corner of his eye, he could see a man standing in that corner, just like he could see you. Now that's the very first time he's ever seen anything like that in his life. So his brain went, all my doors are locked, no one should be inside, what do I do? So he turns to confront the guy. He said they stared at each other for what felt like forever, but it probably was only a few seconds. And then that man disappeared. And he's like, I'm done. He left, and he did not come back into this building for 30 days. It's like, no. Science and physics, that doesn't happen. But he's also an explorer, so once he got his head wrapped around it, he was more okay with it. Now, this gentleman, how tall are you?
6'7".
That's not that tall, but,
Me, 5'10", probably 5'11".
so in between them. This guy's about 6'3".
6.
So he's pretty tall. He has, the only way he described it is like a leather duster. He's kind of wearing like a sort of cowboy coat type thing. He doesn't have a traditional cowboy hat, but he's got a flat brim brown top hat. He's got this big bushy beard, dark black, brown, it's like really full. And he's just standing there. And then he wasn't. Other people have seen him in this room or in the laundry room. And again, I don't know who he is or why he's here. Now, did anybody ever watch Ghost Adventures? Okay. So their format, from what I understand, is they do what they call recreations, so those quick flashes. They were here in 2015, and those quick flashes is just me and family and friends. So we got to have a lot of fun filming that. We filmed a lot of stuff that didn't make it into the episode, but it was a lot of fun. They were here for 4 days, and we did a lot of stuff, so it was neat. Our first foray into the whole TV land. So they focused pretty heavily on an entity called the Joker. I call him the guy that lives in the basement. TV show didn't make up his name. He's had his name for a long time. He tends to be pretty mischievous, ornery, I'll give him that. But to my knowledge, no one has ever captured any features on him. He's a shadow, all white, all black, some combination of the two. He is extremely tall, and I do believe he wants you to be afraid of him. He wants to intimidate you in some fashion. He's been known to push, pull hair. He throws things. Not generally at you, but just to get your attention. I have to pick up dishes and tell him to stop throwing my dishes, so just stop it. And there may be others. Like I had mentioned before, we've never felt anything malevolent. I was pushed in the basement. When we get around the corner, there's a laundry room there, and there's a dining room down there, and it's a long hallway. And I was just walking down the hallway mid-afternoon, and I, boom, turned all the way around. I was the only one in the hallway. So that was very interesting to me. But I've also watched a gal run out of this building screaming, crying because she felt something had a hold of her and wouldn't let her go. Giving a tour and I glanced out my eye, there was a lady standing here and I look at her and she's literally doing this. She was standing there with her hand like this. I'm like, are you okay? She's like, something's got a hold of my throat. I'm like, do you need to leave? She's like, no, I'm good. So she was fine with that. So again, it's up to you. Whatever your reaction is whatever your reaction is. The one thing that I always tell people, it's not a good idea to run anywhere in a building you're unfamiliar with. So be careful on doing those kinds of things. And if you are ever uncomfortable, if you find yourself just feeling really, really uncomfortable, sometimes all it takes is for you to step out of whatever room or area that you're in. And that feeling will go away. If you need to go outside, let me know, and I will get you outside. There's a picture upstairs of a gentleman. He was a guard in Edinburg prison. He's been here multiple times on day tours, and he and his wife were here one day on a tour, and we were in the basement, and we're getting down into the laundry room, or into the dining room down there, and he's just got this look on his face. I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I need to leave, and I need to leave now. Okay. So I took him out the back door, and I said, you just let me know, if you want to come back in. It was a little chilly, so he had like a windbreaker, a little coat on. He comes back in and he pulls up his sleeve and he has got scratches, like deeper scratches. That was through his coat. And he's like, that has never happened to me before. Why did they do that? I said, I don't know.
Was his coat ripped?
No. And he signed up for another tour not too long after that. I'm like, are you sure you want to be here? And he's like, well, my kids want to come. I'm like, okay. So I'm watching him. It's warmer, and we get to the same area, and he's looking a little peaked there, and I'm like, are you okay? He's like, my arm is tingling. So he got the same scratches, not as deep, on the same arm. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to get his attention in some fashion. I don't know. Again, for me, being scratched, pushed, having your hair pulled, things like that, it's not necessarily evil. They don't have any other way to communicate with you. So, and a lot of them have some sort of mental issue, disability, so their communication skills are a little different. So I like to think about that. We're going to go into the laundry room and down around the corner. And you're going to make your way down all the way to the end. The first one on the right is the bathroom. Because this was your kitchen area, we have 2 walk-in coolers.
That's where your picture came from, I think. Wasn't it? You were looking in. No.
From right here. Right here, he was standing right here. Guys, watch that video. person was standing right
There
where I
was
was.
trees in front of the window.
Yeah, see the bush?
We were sneaking around here one time, and Henry caught a picture of this from outside.
Oh, he's next to Jerry. So this is he's a Halloween prop that a friend brought that I didn't know was here, and I went to him in the dark.
All right, we are in the dining room, what used to be the dining room. One of our first experiences with the guy that lives in the basement did happen in this room. That little buffet was sitting like here, and there was a couple stacks of ceramic dinner plates up there. And there was a group that was gonna investigate. They were downstairs gonna try to set up some cameras and equipment and things like that. Of course, they didn't have any of that equipment up, and one of those plates went flying across the room. And so I removed the dishes and said, stop that. Ceiling fan, all 3 fans looked like that when we got inside. I'm like, what happened? Well, apparently humidity does wonders too, wood, things like that. We were gonna paint this room almost 10 years ago now, and it was so humid I couldn't keep water off anything. Had the windows open, box fans going. Weirdly enough, the fans actually work. But that time, we had the fans going and things like that, and they were all looking like that. And I came downstairs and my box fan was tipped over. So I went and picked it up and realized that all 4 blades on that fan over there had literally flown off. So I put new ones on that one. For whatever reason, they haven't wilted again, because it gets pretty darn humid in here. And then I put new ones on this one because I usually have the table under there too. When I do the tour, we always come in here, and tall people, you can just grab that, and they'll just disintegrate in your fingers. So I put new ones on that, and it's kind of stayed. And he just gets to stay because he's kind of out of the way, and so it looks pretty cool. Has anybody been on an investigation before? Are you familiar with a device called an obelisk? It's a little device that spits out random words. You can either hear it or you can read it. And there was a big group down here, probably 15 or 20 people, and they had an obelisk. And my youngest daughter and I came out here, my friend had let them in, and we were going to go to dinner, and we just kind of joined them and see what they're doing. And one of the things that most people do when they're investigating is they always want to know what your name is. Tell us your name. There was lots of questions that were asked, and some of the answers made sense, and some of them made absolutely no sense. Then it got really quiet. And then that little device spit out the word autumn. My daughter grabs my hand and she's like, Mom, we need to leave now. That is what her name is. She was only 12. And it took that child 5 years to come back inside this building. She would come out here with me, but she'd sit outside in the car in the dark by herself rather than come inside with her friends. So she did not like that experience at all. So when you have those experiences, when you have devices that you can read, and whatever you're reading may not even been whatever question you asked, is personal to you, it can be disconcerting, but it's also really cool. We do that. So lots of other things. Now, we're going to go into what I call the room in the room. You're going to need your flashlight.
Can you see the flashlight? Yeah, it was right. No, it was right here. And then we were in that window. Yeah, there's that table.
So say, what room were you looking when you got that picture? Or what window?
It was like 5 years ago, probably.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear her talk.
Now, most people parking outside the building may have noticed this grassy hill with a white box on it. You're underneath that. This room is not original to the building. I don't know when it was added. I haven't. So when storms would come, they'd bring all the residents down. They had activities and big tables and things for the people to do. There used to be a door there they would shut, and there used to be a door here they would shut, and humidity literally disintegrated them. I can't put light bulbs in the lights because the humidity is too much that they won't, they burn out very quickly, so don't do that. Shut your lights off. Now, we do have some light pollution from the hallway there, but you can see, when you lose that, it's gonna get pretty darn dark in this room. It's not the darkest room in the building, but I do have a picture upstairs that someone took on a Sunday afternoon, and there's a gentleman that's hanging out in that corner over there.
No.
And when I say hanging out, literally I mean that, because his feet are not touching the floor. Oh, fuck. Just say hi. Just say hi.
Hi, dude.
All right, hi.
We believe you.
Yeah, we believe you, because I literally saw it. Oh, God. I thought, I was just making sure.
All the way to the end, last room, go to the right or the left.
We saw the dude
Good.
before you started talking about it.
What?
I don't know what you did. Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead and scoot in to the right or the left,
Over here. Oh, sorry.
kind of bunch up on either. Not really. Now clearly this is the maintenance guy's room. He had lots of stuff. When we started doing this, I mean, even when we got it, we were contemplating this. I had to remove things like saws, butcher knives, and dangerous items like that. And because the county did not do anything. They shut the doors, locked the doors, and it was a, here you go, kind of thing. That's how they decided to sell it. So it was an interesting treasure hunt, finding things. But I like the room because it's fairly unique. It has brick transitions to limestone with a concrete ceiling. In the wintertime, it's really cool because it sparkles. But go ahead and shut the lights off. So you guys in your back corners over there, you can stand there all night the day you want. You're not gonna see your hand in front of your face. And once you lose that light pollution from the hallway, this is the darkest room in the building. Now, there are people that have reported hearing, either with their own ears or on their devices, get out or leave. Very common. I don't listen, whatever. But I did have a gal tell me one time, that gave me a different perspective that I really liked. She said that if you hear that, maybe whoever is saying that is actually talking to someone that they can see and you can't, telling that person to get out or leave. Well, that's nice. I like that. So yeah, it's up to
Yeah,
you.
just
It can be disconcerting. I was in this room. Where's the gal with the shorts? She was there. There was a gal standing over here one time that had shorts on, and she really wanted to get out of here because something touched the back of her leg while she was standing here. She's like, yeah, I'm done. The weirdest thing to me is that, yeah, I have a lot of cleaning to do, and it's very humid and stuff, but I don't have a lot of cobwebs. I have no idea why.
I just walked through one, supposedly.
Exactly. That's something that I've learned as well. That's another way that they try to get your attention or to communicate. If you feel like you walked through a cobweb, you probably didn't. It's gonna feel like a little wispy, on your face, on your arms. Tall people, yeah, you might run into a cobweb up in the doorways or something like that, or like under the chairs sometimes. But that's always been very weird to me. When we go back out the door, there's a room to your right. It looks a little weird, it's got some concrete and things. There's a grated ceiling up there, and that's actually by the back door, and there's a window that used to have grating on it. That was the old padded room. They did use things like straitjackets and padded rooms. So if you were trying to hurt yourself or someone else, orderlies would throw you in a jacket and put you in a room until you calm yourself down. On our blueprints was a room called a cell, and I just automatically assumed that was it. But that room was not actually built until 1970. So the storage center, we didn't go out the second door. We went in the first one to go into the storm shelter. That room is a storage room, but there was a wall through that door. That was the cell. So an unpadded area. Again, most people were medicated, but they knew that they were gonna have potentially uncontrollable people here. And is anybody familiar with MHI, the Mental Health Institute in
She
Independence?
works for, I don't work for MHI, but I'm very familiar.
Okay, so part of it's still operational. It's been there for a long time. That is the hospital. That was the mental hospital. There's a couple others in Iowa, but that's probably the most prominent one. And you would go to the hospital to be fixed. That's where they did those lovely things like shock therapy and lobotomies. And when you were done, if your family couldn't afford to take you back home, they would put you in county homes. And I've seen general ledger records that said 19 patients arrived from MHI today. So they've always intended to have some potentially not nice people in places like this. So that's what that room is for. All right, come in this way.
I'm not kicking the ball.
Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh,
I asked her if she stepped up.
oh my. No.
No, I just scared.
Don't.
There's always one.
Don't do that.
All right, all the way into the kitchen. So we started in that room there and we just ended up in here. That big rack there with all the pots and pans, people have reported hearing it rattle, but you didn't see it move. I have seen the stock pots swing. I've seen the oven doors open and close. I had 3 guys who were gonna spend the night. This is probably I think that was their first time here. They've been here multiple times since then. But there was one gentleman standing here, his friend here, third one here, and I was standing here. And we were just talking, telling him some stories in here, and all of a sudden this little dish, which was broken at the time, started spinning. This guy lost it. We weren't touching the table. There should be a green lid over by the microwave there. After Ghost Adventures aired, I had a huge uptick. I probably had like 200 emails the next morning wanting tours. If you book an overnight, you got a tour, but we didn't do the day tours. So we're like, okay, let's see what this is about. Last minute Facebook post had about 12 or 15 people show up. That's manageable. So I did one like on a Tuesday at 6. I had 37 people show up. That was a bit much. So I was going to do another one. I contacted a guy that was in the area that was helping me out. And he was available. And I don't do it that way anymore because I had 55 people show up that day. He had part of the group, I had the rest. He's in the basement, I'm on the 2nd floor. And I got a text from him that literally said, oh my God, something just happened. I ran out the back door, what do I do? I'm like, where's your group? They're still in the basement. He left. His group was a little squirrely. They were trying to scare each other, standing in doorways, things like that. So he was in the hallway with a few people and they hear this noise come out of the kitchen. So they come running in the doorway and standing over there is a man. He's the only one in the room and you could tell he was scared to death. They're like, what happened? Well, that green lid had flown off the counter, hit the floor and was sitting here. Now behind you guys there is a table that is, I'll call it, it has a lipped edge. So it's not flat like that one, it's got this little lip. So sitting right here was a can. People are starting to mill around. This guy's telling his story. And all of a sudden that can hit the floor and one of those doors slams and my tour guide bolts out the back door. But if you do get the opportunity to watch the Ghost Adventures episode, try to find the guy in the straight jacket, those quick flashes, because that's him. So he had fun with that as well. I have one more room that I finished up on the first floor. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, we're gonna go upstairs. You're gonna go all the way to the end. At the end, take a left and go into that room.
Oh, jeez. Mannequin.
Oh, you got it, Jerry.
It scared me crap.
Yeah, that would freak you out.
Pictures down your face.
Oh my god. Yep, you guys can go first now.
I love the slippers. Top floor first. When we go around, okay?
I can't breathe. I'm shaking. Oh my god. I saw that now. I jumped. That scared me.
All right, so who met Jerry first? You did. He is an actual Halloween prop. He used to have a power cord, so he used to be short, and somebody cut the power cord off him. So what he would do is he would get taller, and he'd use his hands are like this, so he would do this with his head. I met Jerry in the dark. A friend of mine out of Chicago was here with his cousin, and I come out the next day it was darker, and I'm like, I call him up, I was like, why didn't you tell me he was here? And he's like, I'm sorry, my cousin wanted to leave him. I can come get him. I'm like, dude, you're in Chicago. He's fine. I just wish you would have told me that he was here. I call him Jerry. Most people will call him Oh Jesus, or whatever other words pop out of your mouth when you see him. And most of the time, I don't get here soon enough to do a walkthrough to find where he's at. I have found him in the boiler room. I found him in a bed. I found him in random closets and things like that. So now that we know where he is, I don't have to tell you to be careful when you open closet doors. Because yeah. So we did transition first floor women's wing. As you went down the hallway before you got to Jerry, you may have seen there's a room that has a half door. That was the medication room. There's a room on the other side that has a hair washing sink and the bathroom scale. The doctor would come out and do assessments and do that, and then a lady who lived in the area would come out and do people's hair and things like that. So that was kind of nice, and some more offices. And then you have this larger resident room, and early on we had learned about a young adult female that lived in this room, and she was consistently harassed by a man. I don't know if it was a resident or a staff person, but she was assaulted several times in that bed. And I don't know if that's the bed, but that's the location. Now, people have reported feeling held down like they couldn't breathe when they laid in the bed. Unfortunately, that same scenario highly likely happened elsewhere in the building. It's just a horrible product of group home living. There is a lady in the room, and I know of 2 people that have seen her. Should she decide to show herself, she's probably going to look like a 1950s housewife. She's got a pretty dress on, her hair's all done up, full on makeup. That's how she wants you to see her. May not be what she looks like, but that's what she wants you to see. And I don't know what her name is. There are a lot of balloons. Most of them I need to go pick up because they've all deflated. But balloons are a really cheap investigative tool. Get some balloons, blow them up, set them on the floor. If you walk by it, it will move. But if you're here and your balloon's over there and it starts moving, that's something a little different. And I do know a gentleman, when I first encountered the balloon things, he had a balloon on this dresser. And there were 5 people here, and 3 of them had left early. The other 2 come back down to the wing, and the balloon is in the hallway. They weren't sure if their teammates put it there or not, so they put it back on the dresser, propped it up with a little domino. We're doing some more investigations, and then they're going to leave. So they come check on their balloon. And he told me that this balloon was now over on that dresser. And so was the domino. It was again, there's lots of stuff out there. We get the novice investigator, we get the YouTubers that sensationalize everything. I've had a music video done out here that's out there on YouTube. That was really cool. I had a couple get married on Halloween last year here. That was interesting. It was fun. They got engaged out here a couple years before, so she always wanted to have her wedding here, so that's what we did. So it's senior pictures, just different things. So we don't just do the paranormal investigating stuff. People have come for lots of years, lots of reasons. And like I said, for me, it's just really neat to meet a lot of different people. Does anybody have any questions after all that? Okay, I'm gonna let you wander around. I usually do about a half hour or so. I don't even know what time it is, but a couple rules. There, as we went through, you may have noticed there are a couple of rooms on the second floor that have keep out signs on them. They literally are storm damage rooms, meaning the ceiling is falling. We've got some roof issues, so we don't go in there. There are some doors that are locked on purpose. Just have some stuff stored in there. All of us old folks that know what an original computer monitor looked like, yeah, I got some of those. I don't even know why. So those different things. I'm gonna kind of hang out in the room where you sign the waiver. The books will be in there if you have any questions, you want to look through them. I can kind of, some people send me things and I'm like, I really don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at, but I'm going to print it anyway, and maybe someone else. But there are a few pictures that I saw something right away. And over the years, when people are looking through the book, I'll see more in the same pictures. It's like, I never saw that before. So it's interesting to do that. So, one of the last things I never thought I'd have to tell people is that nothing here is a souvenir. I always tell the groups that if you come and you leave something, it now is mine, unless you tell me that you're taking it, right away back.
Alright guys, we're going to the boiler room first to see what we can find, because they said that they're not doing that in the tour, so we gotta go down there. Unless there's a lot of people down there. I forgot about it again. Why do I always forget about it? Again. Oh my God.
So are you saying the mannequin guy moves on his own?
I don't know. I just know he's in different places when I come out here.
Okay.
So I don't know if people move in or he moves.
Guys, heading to the boiler room. Let's get into it. Alright. Heading down here. Flashlights on.
Which way is that?
Let's go this way. Why do I have to go first?
This was your idea.
True.
It's so cold down here.
I know. The birds like it right there.
Oh man, it's the same bird. Why do they want to come in so bad?
Maybe they see something. Okay, boiler room. Where's that at?
I think it was this way.
I thought it was that way. Wait, was this ball here?
I think so.
Wait, I'm gonna scare somebody. Wait, chemical
No,
store.
can't go in
Yeah,
there.
I forget. Okay, here it is.
I'm not going in there.
Will you follow me?
I'm not going in there.
I'm not going in here by myself.
Looks like you are.
Nope. I'm not going in there all the way by myself. This place is so eerie.
Yeah, super weird.
TV.
How do we get out of here?
Wait,
What was that? Don't open that stuff.
nobody. Shit.
Scared me. Where's the ball? Okay, where do we spell ball?
I think it's right here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, turn on.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, guys, we're going upstairs. You want to go to the same room where we saw
Yeah.
the curtain moving?
Yeah.
What was that, the blue room or something?
Yeah, the blue curtain.
It was down here and to the right or the left?
Maybe straight ahead.
Oh, yeah. Wait, 2-4.
No, don't go in. You're not supposed to go into rooms.
It's not.
Door shut.
She didn't say that. Wait,
Keep
I want
up.
to check this.
This is the room where the. Now it's not moving.
Alright, listen.
Oh, no, now it is.
Wait, it is again. What the heck?
It's gotta be something with
Yeah.
the draft.
You hear that? It's like a. This isn't too bad of a bathtub.
Yeah.
Wonder if it. Oh no, they didn't say that they have running water.
Yeah.
Fire door keep closed. I don't think it actually needs to. Oh my. There's the coffin. Guys,
Oh,
here
yeah.
is the coffin.
Don't touch anything.
Just touched its face. What is, there's like roses under there.
It's too bad that there's spirits stuck here. No, they're not. They can't go to heaven. You know?
Like stuck here for the
That's
rest of
sad.
that's stuck here for the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until the building gets broken down, then they're free.
Is that how that works?
Wait. Adult thing. Hawkeye's blanket.
I know, that's nice.
She said this is her chill room.
Yeah. That's kinda nice.
Yeah, what if somebody drove by and we were like, we were like a face. Ooh, there's just shoes in there.
You never know, maybe some shoes.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Hey, at least I got a urinal. Wait, come on, please. if somebody's chasing you, you can just jump in here.
I don't think the ghost will be able to find you.
Wait, gotta check the other one. Ready, I'm gonna scare some.
Oh, it doesn't sound.
That one's nice.
I heard that sound though a few times while we were in rooms.
Did you hear that? Alright, let's check. You wanna go downstairs?
You done up here?
Yeah. I mean, we pretty much did everything up here.
Yeah. I just think the basement's so chilly.
I know. Okay, so what was the last one that we were in?
Wasn't it straight ahead to the left?
Oh, yeah. Oh, back room. Oh, there's a computer in here.
And a box over the bathroom.
If you go up. Oh. That chair scared me. That chair is kind of weird. Just right there. Back to the, okay, so last room was like
This one.
this one? Okay. You hold the camera while I do this, see if I feel anything. It's okay. I don't feel anything.
It's because you're a good person.
Yeah. Feels kind of funky.
Feel kind of what?
Funky.
How?
I don't know, it did just feel weird. I'm fine.
So, this is the main thing that scared you, right? So, she said that it moves. That's what was down in the basement.
Try me.
Don't, it's not, it isn't.
Pick your nose. Yeah, that's right nose like this. Hey, I know. We can be friends again. Hey, just don't scare me like that again. Smacked him. 103.
Actually, Grandma keeps texting me.
What was the 214 again?
The what?
That one room that said 214.
Because they had it down at state, so they had to keep things
Oh, that was Paul's room.
Paul. I just said it. Okay, where's 214?
Why?
Because I want to go in there.
It's upstairs.
Oh, it is?
We've already been in.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, we have.
214 was shut.
Oh, why do you want 214?
I don't know. One of the other doors, she said it's a creepy room. So, see if we can get anything. I feel like,
Did we go up this way?
geez, my reflection.
Jeez, go. What are you standing here for?
I mean, I was waiting for it to slam.
Why?
Why were you, wait, jeez.
I forget that step is longer. 225, 213.
2111. Where's 2? Wait, what's in here?
208, 232.
Because 214 is shut. Where is 214 at? Oh, 214. There it is.
It's just the door.
Whoa. Oh my. That light looked like it's like so. Wait, shut the door. Just. I don't like that. That's creepy. I kind of want to check. Oh, there's an old Barbie doll house.
Oh, that's cool. I love Barbies.
Hi.
You going down? You about done?
Yeah.
Good.
Ooh. Scared me.
Forgot about the paint.
Oh no. Alright, let's go. I'm not going back. You want to go back in the basement?
You could probably fix this place up a little bit.
And like turn it into something. There's Guy. Yep. Closet. Locked. Well, we did it.
We did it. When you get to be 16, you can stay the night. I think that's what it is.
I mean, they weren't the best places, that's for sure, and there's some bad things in there.
And guys, that was Edinburg Manor. Pretty cool place. Wait, let's see. Hey, Barbie doll's gone.
Yeah, the dolls aren't.
Edinburg Manor. Crazy place. When I turn 16, I'll spend the night here. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this pretty long video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.